successful Jira Project Management tutorial. Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'll be showing you guys how you can get started with project management on Jira software. So let's get into it. Now, for any project to be successful, it needs to have the basic initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and then closure. And Jira software can help you in providing all of these steps in an effective and simple and easy to understand manner. So let's get started with using the Jira Project Management software. So to get started, head on over to atlassian.com/software/Jira, and then just click on Get It Free, or just click on Get It Free over here to get started with Jira software. Now, they will recommend 2 other services, so you can select some secondary services as well, but I want to focus primarily on project management, so I'm just going to click on Next and proceed with the Jira software. Now, to sign up, you can enter your work email. I'm going to continue with Google to get started with my account on Jira, and this will lead you to your Atlassian account, so I'm just going to proceed over here. Now, from here, you have to enter your email address, and with your email address, you are going to enter the site name that you want to use. Your site name is basically going to be reflective of the project that you are doing. So let's say our company is called Durden Marketing, like this. Now, once we have selected our site name, click on Agree over here. And once you click on Agree, this will lead you to your Atlassian confirmation. So we're going to wait a couple of seconds for our registration to be completed. And once we've done that, Jira will start building our workspace. Now, one thing to note is for any project, you have a few different things you need to understand. First up is the hierarchy of boards. Different softwares have different categorizations of boards. However, primarily on Jira, you have a workspace. Within that, you have a project, and within a project, you have boards. And you can build tasks within boards and section those tasks or bucket those tasks into different categories, add column information as well to further provide detail. Now, for this particular example, I will be using something related to marketing. So I want to build a project management board for a marketing team. So I'm going to be proceeding with that idea in mind, and I'll show you guys step by step how you can do it as well. Now, a lot of people like to get started with templates, but the issue that I personally have with templates is that sometimes it can just be very overwhelming. So you guys can see you have the option to start with a simple Kanban board, a Scrum board, or a business board. I want to start with a Kanban board because it is my personal favorite for simple project management. So I'm going to click on Next over here. And once we have proceeded, we will be led to the first board that we have on Jira. Now, you will see that we are just going to proceed over here. And on the top, you have the option of your project, your work, then you have your filters, dashboards, teams, plans, and apps. Now, you have your first project that is going to be created by default, which is my Kanban board. Now, I want to customize this, so I am going to remove this info from here. So I'm just going to add the name. This is going to be our marketing board, like this. Now, once you have done that, you can get started with planning the rest of your project. Now, before we get into the project management elements, you need to understand the tools that you have at hand. So if you take a look at the left panel, you have development, which is not relevant to project management. You have project pages. Project pages can be a Word document, they can be product requirements, they can be design decisions. All of those things can be done in project pages. These are a relatively new feature integrated into Jira software. However, they can be pretty helpful for most projects. I will be covering some elements of the project pages as well, and they are something that are only available on the premium version of Jira software. However, you can get a free trial for them as well. Now, moving back into our actual board, you have 2 options. So let's proceed with some of the basics of Jira. Now, in our boards, if I click on board over here, this is our first board that we have created within our Kanban project. Now, you can click on project on the top, and you can click on create project to build a new segregated project. This can be helpful if you are working with different team members such as you are running one marketing agency or you're running another business where you do home services. So both of those businesses are very different. You might have completely different teams for both of them. So in that particular situation, it's better to have a segregated workspace or project space. Now, below that, you will see you have a board option, and this is our first board that has been created in a Kanban view. You can click on Add View to add a different type of view as well. Now, I want to get started with our marketing board, so let's proceed with our marketing ideation board. Now, I have different types of tasks which are not going to be defined by the to do or in progress. I want to define my tasks based upon the type of task they are, and then maybe add custom fields of completion later on. So what I'm going to do is, first off, I have my campaign ideas like this. And then after that, I want to create a second issue or issue categorization, which might be content creation. And let's say all of this is for agency A. If I'm doing this for agency B, I can go into projects and build a separate project for that. Now I'm going to build another status called social media, or let's say it's just going to be collaborations like this. Now I've added 3 different categorizations that I'm going to primarily be using for my boards. You have the done section, you have your campaign ideas, you have a collaboration section, and this is going to be dependent on the industry that you are in. Obviously, for the industry that I'm doing this for, these are going to make sense for me. If you're not in marketing, if you're doing something else like a hiring pipeline, or if you're constructing something, your categorizations are going to differ, but you guys get the basic idea of how you're supposed to categorize. Now, after you have added this, I like to go into Add View. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the timeline view over here. And you guys can see you have an option to view everything by the month. And you can go into the top right over here and you can see how many completed issues you have. You can choose a particular month as well. You can also see the different categories of tasks that are assigned to one person. So that can help you in making sure that the workload is distributed evenly as well. Now, I want to take a look at everything on a backlog, and then I also want to go into more features over here, and in that I want estimations as well as I want reports. Yeah, I think I need all of these basic views just to make my marketing board a bit more optimized. Now, once we have created our own campaign sections or different types of segmentations, I'll add a sample task. So let's say it is going to be build a pop-up in the mall like this. Now I can open this up, and once I open this up, I can add more information about this particular task. This includes the attachment, add a child issue, which basically means a child issue basically means there is a subtask that needs to be completed for this task to be done. So I can link an issue as well. So if this is blocked by or blocks another task, I can add that as well. Then I have a web link and then applications I can integrate. Below that, you have the option to provide different types of descriptions. And these descriptions can help you in making sure that everything is detailed and every task that is being done by any person is being done correctly. So make sure to include details, and you can type in / over here to add an image, video, or file. You can also add expandable tables. You can add code snippets, statuses, as well as info panels. Now, what I like to do is I like to add a custom status label that includes new in. Second status I like to add, so you can, choose different colors like this. And I'm just going to click on save over here. You can click on save over here, and then this will add a status. You can add a new status for any task, and you can configure your own statuses as well. Now, below that, you can see all of the activity that has been happening within a task, and you have the option to add epic on the top left. Now, you can create an epic, and you can click on create your first epic, and this is going to be a task or epic. We can add that, and you can add a summary of the epic, so V2 of the pop-up like this. And then after that, you can add descriptions, labels. So you can add your own labels, parent issues, due dates as well, like this. And then just click on create over here. This will add a can-to issue. So we are going to make sure that we are going to add these all to a segregated board just so it's easier for us to view. This is a can-to issue, so this would be available on the second Kanban board that we have. Now, if you want to provide more details of your actions or of your tasks, you can click on a task and click on actions, and then click on create automations to be able to see a automation. Now, these automations can be anywhere from notifying you on another application. This can also be to get notifications on Jira, or if a new status happens, maybe to move items from one section to the next. So I'm going to skip this and I can choose the issue trigger. So let's say when a new issue is created, then I want to add an action, and the action will be to maybe assign, or let's say it's going to be notification based. So I want to send an email, and the email could be to myself to note of the new issue or just to be reminded of the new issues. Now, heading on over to our first board, you will see you have can-to. And if I click on can-to, you will be able to see the Confluence page that would be linked to this, as well as the Kanban project that we have created. Now, in Jira software, there is specifically a thing called swim lanes. So you can configure your swim lanes and you can base them upon assignees, issue types, or other criteria. Now, you also have the particular types of components you can add, and you can use tags as a form to add your components. So if I was to say that I have this particular task over here, and I don't want to view this in a sidebar, I want to take a full view at this. Now, we have this particular issue, and I have labels over here. And I can add my own labels. So let's say I want to label this as print materials or e-com materials. This can help us in making sure that each team member knows what affiliation this task has. So because this is a marketing team, I'm either working digitally or in print. So this is going to be a print item. This is a print item. And I can add a secondary label to maybe the other tasks where they are related to a e-commerce. So let's say this is going to be build a landing page for our new arrivals, like this. And then I can open this up and then click on the labels, and then I can add this into digital. Now, this just helps you in making sure that each individual task is a easy to understand task for your team members, employees, or people working in your workspace. Now, another utilitarian tool that I find to be super helpful is the @ tool. Now, if someone is supposed to build the landing page, let's say I assign it to this person over here. If someone is supposed to, complete a task, I can easily assign it to them. But to make it even better, I can go into the comments section and do @, and then you can insert the person's name. So it could be any person's name. You also have some other @-based automations, but you can insert the person's name to notify that particular team member that they have been assigned to that task or any specifications you want to notify them about. Now, if you are someone that is going to be using Jira primarily for all of their project management, I would always recommend that because you are using Jira, always try to go for something like a whole software. So if you want, I would say that using Confluence in addition to Jira for project management can be a better way to optimize the rest of your tasks. However, it's still a great way to get started with on Jira. Now, on Jira, if you click on reports, you have a few different types of reports. And you will see that you have the option of sprint backlogs, velocity reports, and this is going to require sprints to be integrated into your Jira or Atlassian account. This is totally up to you if you want to integrate this into your workspace. This is a Jira tool that can be super helpful and easy to navigate through. Now, it's not necessary to go with these particular reports, but I would say that having these reports can be a better functionality for most teams. Now, moving on to our next step, which is going to be automations. Now, you can build entire automations on a board. So whenever something new happens on a board, you are notified, or whenever something changes on a board, you are notified. To build these types of automations, head on over to your Jira software board and then click on the top right of automation. Once you do that, you can click on Create Automation and you can build your own automation that is going to be board-wide. So this is not going to be a trigger where it's only for one task. This would be a trigger for the entire board. Now, let's say it is going to be something like when the issue has transitioned. And I can add a component. Then I want an action. Let's say I want to create a sprint where the marketing board, and this is going to be notif. And then the start date is going to be pick a date like this, and then the end date like this, and the sprint goal is to complete the task. Now, with this type of sprint-based automations, this basically means that the task needs to be completed right now. And this is obviously a basic rule. Obviously, whenever everything transitions, I don't want it to overwhelm my employees, and I don't want everything to be completed instantaneously. But these kinds of rules can be helpful. So when you choose the status, when it goes from campaign ideas or content creation to collaborations. So whenever it's either campaign ideas or content creation, if anything moves from these two statuses to a collaboration, I want it to be done instantaneously because that might be something that is going to take time. And this is going to be influencer sprint. And I'm going to click on Turn On Rule. And this can just help you in making sure that any of the tasks that are related to other people within your workspace are completed instantaneously. Now, with your project on the top, you have filters and then you have dashboards. And you can click on Create Dashboard to build a dashboard to view your Jira Project Management software from a bird's eye view. I'm going to name this bird's eye, and this is going to be for agency marketing or agency A's marketing. And the viewers are going to be everyone within the project of this particular project, or you can even do your entire organization or particular users as well. Now, once I've done that, I am going to click on Save over here. And once you click on Save, this will open up the dashboard. Now, in your dashboard, you will find on the right, you have well over 30 gadgets that you can add. These gadgets are just going to provide you with summary as well as visual data from your board. They will derive the data and information from your board and present it in a way that you are going to be able to see a really nice bird's eye view and know what is going on. So let's say I want to see the activity stream. So I can add that over here. This would show me all the things that are happening within our project. Then let's say I want to scroll down and maybe add a created versus resolved chart. I can add that over here, and this can help us in searching for what types of tasks are being created and what is being resolved, how long it's taking. You can also create heat maps, issue statistics, recently created charts, quick links, resolution times, and more. Now, with this, you can add more gadgets on the right. Let's say I want to add voted issues over here. So if I want, I'm just going to drag and drop this to this side, and you can create different types of issues and have voting created as well. And this can be great in making sure that all of the opinions of the people in your workspace are heard and acknowledged. Now, other than boards, you have the next section of teams where you can create different teams that have access to different types of projects. And after that, you have your application integration tool. You can go into explore more apps to integrate other tools that can be directly linked to Jira. So if you are using something already, it might be easily adaptable to Jira as well. And you can go on ahead and integrate it. You can go into manage apps to manage any of the pre-existing apps that you might have connected. Now, a lot of people might think that this is too much work to get started with a project. Well, if you do find this to be too much work for you, you can always go into create and you can actually create your own new project with a template. Now, this is just totally dependent on how you want to proceed with Jira. You guys can see Jira provides you with different templates for different types of industries that you might be in. So for work management, product management, service management, you have different types of templates. Now, let's say I want to build it for project management, and I can click on C over here, name this as template, and I'll click on create project just to show you guys what a template would look like and how you can customize a template as well. Now, this is the template over here. As you guys can see, in the template, you have board views, list views, calendar views, approvals, attachments, forms, and then some shortcuts, as well as your basic project settings. Now, first off, you're going to go into project settings and rename your project Durden Marketing, and I'll build a similar board as the one we built. And then you can choose your categories. So you can click on manage categories over here and add different types of categories. So let's say this is going to be digital, and then I'll add a second category, which is going to be print. And instead of print, I'm actually going to add digital or physical marketing because that's a bit more applicable to my marketing sections. Now we're going to go back ahead and open up our project, and you guys will see that the board view looks pretty much the same. And you guys can see if you have these little statuses, we can customize them as we did initially. Then you have a list view, which is going to be pretty much the same thing, as well as a timeline or approval section, forms, pages, attachment, all of that is going to look like a basic board, and you can add the information as you want. Now, one thing to note is that with any project that you are creating, the accessibility for different members can be created differently. And if you want to build these kinds of board in your project, so I have this project over here, you can go on ahead and go into your project settings and then customize the project settings as you want. So you can go into board, and I want to add columns and statuses. I can add different types of columns and statuses by default into the entire board. I can add custom filters in my board, custom card covers, tool chains, as well as views. One thing to note is that some of these views that are provided in templates are only available on the premium versions of Jira. So if you are looking to upgrade to Jira, you have a different tool that you can utilize for different purposes if you don't want to spend a lot of money for individual tools. Now, you will see approvals are a feature that are limited to only the premium version of Jira. And if you are considering premium, you will see we can go into the Jira pricing. And if you take a look at the Jira Service Management, now Jira has multiple different types of tools. So you want to go into Atlassian's Jira software, which is the project management software that we are using. You can go into pricing of Jira Project Management, and you will see they have a free version where you can add upwards of 10 users. Then you have the standard version where you can add upwards of 35,000 users. The price of the standard version starts at $8.15 per month for each individual user. And then you have the premium version starting at $16 for each individual user. Now, you will see you can change the number of users that you have, and it will give you a cost per month, which would be your estimated cost per month. You can choose annual billing as well as monthly billing, depending on the industry that you are in, how long you're going to be working on Jira, and how long your projects do last. Now, in general, if I was to tell you guys some of the best practices to get started with on Jira, first off is to always go into detail about setting your defaults, because if you set the defaults on your Jira boards correctly, you don't have to worry about a lot of other things because your defaults are set correctly. That can be anything from the project statuses, the types of tasks that you will be creating, the column information that you want to add, the new fields. You can build your own fields on Jira, and building these kinds of informative boxes can just be a simple way of you to illustrate information that is going to be useful for you, and that is going to actually help you in making sure that everything that you are doing is going to be helpful in actually providing info about your tasks. Now, there are some other tips and tricks that you can use, such as labels, custom fields, as well as estimated task duration. So if you go into the column over here, you click on Add Field, and you can add a timestamp over here. And in your timestamp, you can add a field name, which is going to be estimated time, and then click on Create. And then you can set up certain time that is going to be used to accomplish a particular task. You also can prioritize tasks depending on their priorities, as well as use their keyboard shortcuts. So Jira does have keyboard shortcuts that you can use, and they have a bunch of different lists out there. So let's say if I want to go to boards, I can type in GI, and then this will lead me to boards like this. So you have these shortcuts that can actually end up being really handy when you are using a lot of different boards and you have a lot of different tasks. So you have quick search options in your shortcuts. You can also use, if you want to submit a form, you can go with Alt-S. So if I go on to Alt-S, you guys can see we have the share button from here. If you want to create an issue, just type in C, and this will automatically show you the shortcut to create an issue. These shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts, although they might initially seem pretty tedious, can be a great way to optimize your workspace and optimize your general management. Now, to get started, I would always say that in the Jira software, you have Jira Work Management and Trello integrated. If you are looking to enhance your work performance, try to use all of these tools, because if you're using or focusing on only one tool, it's not going to be as helpful for you because you're not getting the accessibility of the power of using Atlassian to its fullest. Although this is focusing on Jira, the other tool that you have can be super helpful as well. This includes their service management, product discovery, and Confluence. And if I show you guys Confluence just for a couple of seconds, you can click on Try It Now over here, and Confluence actually focuses on goal completion or milestone completion. You can click on Try It Now, and especially if you are a document heavy team where you have to share a lot, you can click on Get Started over here and get started for free with Confluence. And in Confluence, you will be able to do a lot of the things you were doing between Trello or between Jira, but it's going to be a different workspace where you can optimize the workspace accordingly to Atlassian's best powers. So with each of the products, you can use a different tool, such as managing your finances in a different board, or managing your content flow or content calendars in a different board. And all of these segregations do serve a great purpose as to making sure that the relevant teams are able to reach the relevant information. So we're going to wait for Confluence, and I'm just going to click on Go to Confluence to open up my Jira or Atlassian Confluence dashboard as well. And you can click on over here, click on Finish. Now on Confluence, I can build information, I can build my knowledge bases for my team to work upon. These can include the particular work ethics, the Q&As, FAQs, all of that can be drafted here and linked to our Atlassian or Jira software management account. Now, with Jira, you also have the option to always navigate between your different tools. So if you're doing work management, if you're doing software management, if you're doing Confluence, you can easily create projects and be able to switch between different projects all at once. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you are now able to get started with Jira software and Jira's project management tools. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or queries regarding Jira or any other project management tool, then make sure to leave that in the comment box down below. And always keep in mind the basic steps of your projects to make sure that your project management flows effortlessly. This includes the initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and closure of any project. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video.